Welcome, Wanderers. It's Friday, October the 13th. It's 13th day of Halloween. Today, we're talking about today. And we are accompanied by my familiar, Artemis, who for some reason absolutely refuses to leave my side this morning. Now, the number 13 actually has a lot of taboos around it. In fact, there's a phobia just for the number 13, as well as one for Friday the 13th. The number 13's taboos actually go really far back. Like when I was researching, we're talking 1792 BC. From 1792 to 1750 BC, the Babylonian king Hammurabi united Mesopotamia, and in doing so, created the Code of Hammurabi. The Code of Hammurabi was a collection of 282 rules, and though some will speculate that it was a clerical error of all 282, the number 13 was the only one that was omitted. But there are many other taboos. A lot of skyscrapers and tall buildings completely omit the 13th floor. If you're a fan of the good book, then you know there were 13 guests at the Last Supper. And when Big J rolled up with his 12 homies, one of them ended up being a Judas. It's the reason why 13 guests at a dinner table is considered to be a bad omen. If you're a fan of that particular publication, then Friday is also relevant because Jesus was crucified on a Friday. Cain killed Abel on a Friday, and it's believed that Adam received the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge on a Friday. Some of the taboo to the number 13 might just be because of the number itself. 12 is viewed as the number of completion, so going one beyond is a bit too much. You have 12 months on the calendar. There are 12 zodiacs. Used to be 13. There are the 12 tribes of Israel. There are also 12 gods on Mount Olympus, 12 days of Christmas, and the 12 labors of Hercules. Not everyone thinks that Friday the 13th is bad luck. In fact, in Greece and many Spanish-speaking countries, it's Tuesday the 13th that's bad luck. Now, bad things happen every day, but there are some notable ones that did happen on Friday the 13th. In Norse mythology, Loki, the trickster god, actually gate-crashed a banquet in Valhalla, and in doing so brought the number to 13. During that banquet, he tricked the blind god Hodor to shoot his brother Balder, the god of light, love, and goodness, with a mistletoe-laced arrow, killing him. And 716 years ago to the day, and I'm going to just read from my notes on this one because it was really quite a while ago. On Friday, October the 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France arrested hundreds of the Knights Templar. Now, history on the group is a bit murky, but it's believed that the king did this in a bid to acquire their financial resources, charging them with trumped-up BS charges to lock them away, and this ultimately ended up being the downfall or triggering the downfall of the group. In the last century, you have several events that happened. For example, in 1940, Germany bombed Buckingham Palace. And in 1964, the savage attack of Kitty Giovanis brought unwanted attention to New York. It earned a bit of a bad reputation for the city because the main reason why she didn't survive was actually because the witnesses refused to do anything. She was walking home 2:30 in the morning, so you wouldn't expect a lot of witnesses, but there were witnesses. And she was attacked, stabbed multiple times, and robbed. One of her neighbors did see it happening and opened up the window and said, "Hey, leave that girl alone." And the attacker fled. But no one came down to help her. And 10 minutes later, he returned, brutally raping her, stabbing her some more, and leaving her for dead. When the ambulance finally did arrive, she died on the way to the hospital. And this was one of the first times that the indifference of New Yorkers was kind of thrust into the limelight. There was also a cyclone that hit Bangladesh in 1970. In 1972, a Chilean Air Force plane crashed in the Andes. During my youth in 1996, Tupac Shakur died on a Friday the 13th. And in 2012, a cruise ship crashed on the coast of Italy, killing 30 people. Now, Friday the 13th happens 1 to 3 times a year, an average of twice a year. And it is a fine example of the law of attraction and how thoughts become things. Where your mind goes is where your energy goes. So if you believe it's going to be a bad day, it's likely to be a bad day. And while some people may have the liberty of staying in bed twice a year and just totally avoiding the whole Friday the 13th thing, that's not an option for most of us. Thankfully, however, it does appear that the younger generation are kind of letting go of some of those superstitions and not giving energy to that belief. A recent survey by YouGov.com found that only 23% of individuals between the age of 25 and 34 believe that the day is bad luck. So get out there and make it a good one. Knock it out of the park. Brightest blessings, y'all.